Welcome back, Sports Talk in the Mancave. Nice to see you guys. Thank you for joining us one more time. We're going to talk about a couple of good things today. First of all, we need to talk about Dak because he did not get signed. He is playing under the franchise tag. First of all, your comments on that, and how do you think it's going to affect the Cowboys? Carlos, what do you think?
Well, I think Cowboys did a good job not giving in to the request of Dak, and he's taking a big risk going out there and playing on the franchise tag. So I think he should have been the one to give in, because if he gets hurt, he might never get paid like he wants to. So he should have taken that. I think they offered him like $35 million. I think it was, right?
I think so, for 4 years instead of 5, right?
Yeah, he should have taken that deal. But now we get to see what he has. He could either earn his money this year, or he could go out and get injured and risk losing everything.
It's going to be tough. Yeah. Gilbert, what do you think about this?
I think it can go both ways, guys. I mean, the Cowboys wanted 5 years. He wanted 4. He's gambling on himself. If he has a great season, his mark is gonna go even higher. So it's a gamble for both sides. Let's see who wins at the end. But I don't know. I kind of like his chances with his loaded team. Last year, when they didn't make the playoffs, remember they got CeeDee Lamb by not making the playoffs, and I think that was probably the best thing that could have happened.
True. And Charlie, what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I had already said last time that I thought he was going to go in as a franchise tag player because it seemed too close to make a deal and nobody was really budging. But I do agree that it's on his shoulders now, game by game. He has to prove himself. He has to make sure that this team makes playoffs, and not just makes playoffs. He has to prove to win playoff games. And but he has the team to do it. He has the receivers to do it. Zeke wants to call himself a number top back 1, 2, 3 or whatever he wants to be called, which I don't agree with. But there is a question mark on the offensive line,
right?
But it's on his shoulders now. Now, if he doesn't make it, he's not going to get paid.
We know that when he has a good offensive line, he can probably complete the passes and do well. He's gotten better over time. But if he doesn't have a good line, and they are, even though he has great receivers on there, he may not accomplish what he wants to.
And also the play calling is going to change, David. Now that they have a new coach, Coach Clapp is gone, I think forever of the Cowboys at least, and I think McCarthy's going to make a big difference. And he's got a Super Bowl under his belt. He's worked with great quarterbacks before, with Favre, he worked with Aaron Rodgers. I mean, so the pedigree is there as far as his foundation. And what he brings to the Cowboys is that he's gonna bring that stability of somebody who's respected.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, and of course, let's see how much of a season there is, because I think they're going to cut into it. I think the Cowboys open up with the Rams at the Rams. So if that game does take place, that's going to be interesting. The Cowboys should win that game, actually. So
yeah,
we'll see how that goes.
Let's hope it turns out like that. But it's gonna be very difficult to just go in there and new coach. All of this going on. You don't know how the players are taking it. Question mark on the offensive line, and that with Dak, the percentage of time of games won, he has to run the ball as well. And you know that they lacked calling him to run the ball this past season. They tried to start adding some in there, but it just didn't pan out the way it should.
When they start calling more runs for him, they better be prepared for what happens too.
That's exactly right. That's why they wouldn't call the runs, because they were trying to preserve him. But if he doesn't want to get signed, well.
But there's a pretty decent backup this year also, so just in case. So I think they're stacked, and it's gonna be interesting, man. It's just tough that he decided to not sign the long-term deal, unfortunately. But hey, that's the way it goes. But let's move on from Dak because we don't even know if the season's gonna take place. But let's talk about college football. We've been watching for a lot of years, and let's pick maybe your top 3 or top 4 football players of all time from college. And Gilbert, let's start with you.
All right, my top three is number one. I'm gonna go with Vince Young, the Longhorn.
Wow.
What he did in college was remarkable. I mean, the guy he beat a USC team who had just come off a national championship with two great players that were going to be coming out of the first round, which was Reggie Bush and Leinart, and they were stacked on both sides of the line. The Longhorns were heavily underdogs, and Vince Young pretty much single-handedly beat them.
I remember that game.
That was one of the best college football games ever.
Yeah, and I think it's ranked probably the best. It's up there. Number two that I saw, and he just jumped up the screen every time I saw him play in college, out of Oklahoma State, Barry Sanders. The guy was electrifying every time just the ball, whether it was a kick return, punt return, or just giving him the ball. I mean, the guy broke all these records. The guy was he was phenomenal, and then he carried that same athletic ability and his moves to the NFL. Number three, legend is Herschel Walker out of the Georgia Bulldogs.
Wow.
That guy, every time I saw him play, he was running over guys. He was hurling guys, just juking everybody out. Herschel Walker was a legend.
He also ran the 100-meter.
Yeah.
Right? He was like a fast as he had that speed going.
Yeah, no, he was awesome. My honorable mention, and I think that he did the most with what he had, is the Flutie Flakes, man. Doug Flutie. When they upset the Miami Hurricanes, I think the 86 national championship, when the Miami Hurricanes were loaded, they had all these guys that were just stacked. Doug Flutie went in there and he single-handedly, 5'5" or whatever he was, he beat the mighty Hurricanes, man. So Doug Flutie, you gotta put him in there.
Those are great choices, man. I remember Herschel Walker going into the USFL and then breaking. I mean, like crazy, ran for tons of yards in the USFL, over 2,000 one season. Yeah. And he was fantastic, man. That was amazing. Carlos, you're a little bit younger. Give us your lifetime great players.
Most of Gilbert's picks I agree with, but Doug Flutie, he does not belong in the top four.
Oh, come on. Doug Flutie was awesome, man. Flutie was awesome.
Maybe I just don't remember correctly. I'm going with top college players from my lifetime that I actually got to see play. Number three, it was a tie. I couldn't decide who it was, but it's between Tim Tebow and Ricky Williams. Both of them had good careers. Tim Tebow had, 2 national titles, a Heisman Trophy. Reggie Bush, when he finished his career, he was the leading rusher in college football history. So they both had great college careers. Number two, my favorite player of all time, Mike Vick. I love to watch him play. He was the most explosive player. One of the most explosive because number one and number two right now are the most explosive players I've ever seen. Number one is Reggie Bush. That's the best athlete I've ever seen play. He has a national title. He has that Heisman that they took away, but it's still his, really. Like, who else earned it that year? Like, that's his Heisman Trophy. So he's number one on my list.
Yeah, that's a pretty good pick. Yeah, that's a very good pick. Charlie, who do you get on your list?
Well, I go back maybe a little bit here, but I remember this guy that wouldn't wear no, actually
leather helmet.
He would wear every single pad you can actually wear on a football field. Eric Dickerson, he had that neck thing going, the back thing going, the side. I mean, he was a guy that would wear every single pad, and he did the same thing in the pros. Yeah. But he would share time with Craig in college, and I just thought that he was awesome. I thought he was a lot better than Craig, and they actually both turned out to be really good backs. Right. But I always thought that, boy, this guy's gonna be awesome. But maybe I think I would put him at number one. So I'm gonna go the other way around. But no, I can't do that because my next one is probably really, really good. Okay, I have Bo Jackson.
Okay,
Bo Jackson. I mean, even when he got into the pros, that guy looked a step above everybody else. He got the ball, he got hit an opening. I mean, he was faster than everybody. He was strong as heck and just got hurt. But he was probably one of the greatest college players. And then, of course, another one that could play two sports, that was a great college player, Deion Sanders. and Deion Sanders is still talked about as being one of the greatest athletes to play football. And and along actually with Bo Jackson. So these two guys were really good. But Eric Dickerson, I remember watching him and just thinking, wow, he's
So you put Eric number 1 then? Is that what
yes,
you did?
I'm gonna put
Okay.
college football, yes.
All right, because I was confused. All right. So
I think I was confusing myself there for a bit.
yeah, I'm gonna do it, but then I can't. I'm not too
Yeah,
sure.
no.
I think I will, but not really.
But I don't think I will.
So number 3 for me, Earl Campbell. Earl Campbell, breakaway jersey, UT guy. Man, he just ran like crazy, man. I mean, that guy was really, really good. And then he got to the NFL and was running over people. And I mean, the guy, he was loyal to Bum Phillips also because he went to go play after he went to Houston. He went to the Saints as well. Guy was great. And no, he was unstoppable guy. So that was my number 3. My number 2 is from BYU, Ty Detmer. I think that guy was amazing when he was not so great in the NFL, but in college, man, that guy was throwing amazing footballs, man.
Former Laredo one also, Dave. Former Laredo one.
That's right. So the guy was great. I hated that his brother beat the Cowboys one year when he was playing with Philadelphia, but that's okay. Anyway, and then number 1 would be Tony Dorsett, running back, Dallas Cowboys. Played with Pittsburgh, and the guy had the NCAA record. He ran for 6,082 yards, and so he had that record for a long time. The guy was amazing. Then he got to the NFL and did the same thing. He propelled the Cowboys to that Super Bowl as well with his yards. The thing that kept him back from making more yards in the NFL, and he always says this, is Tom Landry not playing him as much as he probably should have.
And I think he still has the record, right, for the longest run.
Yeah,
99 yards. That's as long as you can have it.
I think Derrick Henry tied
99
him.
and a half.
I think Derrick Henry tied him, I believe.
Yeah, but
So they just tied him. They just tied him.
That far from the goal line, man. It was
it was
amazing.
There. But I believe he didn't get the 1,000 yards as a rookie because he didn't play most of the games, or he didn't play, but he did get something like 970 yards or something.
Yeah, but
he almost got the 1,000. I'm not that sure, but I remembering that,
He would break the runs every time he touched the ball. You had a feeling that he was going to break it. Kind of like with Barry Sanders.
Yeah.
Sometimes with Dorsett, he would trip himself. You would think like he can't catch up to his feet. His feet were too fast for him or something, and he would trip up right before breaking something wide open. So
so this is an interesting poll, guys. So maybe our all the Alpha Cavers that follow us and support us can comment on, and maybe we didn't mention somebody that you guys think it was. So that would be a good comment. So go ahead and put a like and comment on your favorite college football player all the time.
Yeah, it would be good. It doesn't have to be one of ours. I mean, because there's so many guys that love college football. They don't like the pro that much. They like the college football, and those guys could probably educate me a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but
me too.
Yeah. No, there are definitely some great players, and it's amazing how some of them can be so great in college, and then they don't play as well in the NFL.
Charlie Ward.
Definitely.
Well, actually, he didn't even play in the NFL. I don't think he played in the NFL. He went on to play with the New York Knicks, but he's a former Heisman Trophy winning quarterback.
DeMarcus Russell.
Oh,
yeah.
Man. Yeah.
So many.
Even Jeff George, right? Jeff George was good, and then he got to the NFL, and he started not playing as great as he should have.
Maybe on the next one, maybe we should do the All NFL Buzz team.
Oh, that's a good one. There's a lot of those.
Go ahead and comment on you guys' favorite college football players ever. Maybe you have names that we didn't mention, and that would be good.
That'd be very cool, man. Anything else going on in the sports world that we need to know about? No fights coming up. Everybody's already fought, and
I think we're waiting for the MLB. Go Mets! They should be starting up pretty soon, and the NBA July 31st. Clippers and Lakers opening up.
That's gonna be fun.
Clippers.
Hey, we're gonna have something to talk about, man.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fun. All right, guys. Thank you very much, guys. Like, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Sports Talk.
Adios.